Hello, everyone. I am back. Welcome back. The school year is about to start, and so a new adventure begins. Many things are happening, are going on at the moment, and I understand we do not know what to expect. But what about getting ready, getting mentally prepared for this new year? And so I thought, well, who would be the best person to talk to? Who would be the person to talk to about this year? The name Gaby came to my mind. I have already had the pleasure of interviewing Gabriel Rshaid, engineer and innovative educator, founder and director of the Global School. And today I am honored to be chatting with Gabriel again. Hello, Gabriel. How are you today? We have some questions for you. How will your school reopen? What can you tell us about that? And what should we expect in 2021? How can we teachers, parents, students get ready for what it is to come, whatever it is to come? What do you think would be different in this 2021 school year? And then tell us or tell me what's new in the Learnerspace. What are you up to? You're always up to something, so we want to know. I know you are involved in the personalized learning project, but would you like to tell us something more about it? And last but not least, are you getting ready for a new We Evolved event? Hoping to hear good news. Say yes, please, and bye-bye. Thank you, Gabriel.
Hi, Gaby. Thanks for the opportunity to take part in these conversations that you're hosting. I think they're very valuable. They're very necessary. We live at an age and time in which we need to hear as many voices as possible from as many points of view as possible. So again, very grateful for the chance to share some thoughts and ideas regarding education. Um, these questions are very interesting, very thought provoking in terms of the new school year and what we see happening. We educators face the unprecedented challenge of taking advantage of a unique crisis that forced us to innovate through constraints. It's well known that creativity springs from constraints, and having to go online last year spurred a whole lot of educational innovations, including but not limited to a more relevant and significant use of technology and developing projects and interactions that were native to the medium. As we go back to brick and mortar schools, as we return to the buildings, 2021 faces us with the formidable challenge of how to take forward some of the lessons learned during the pandemic and foster a unique and renewed learning paradigm for our students. I recently wrote an article in which I playfully condemned the use of the word hybrid as referring to the new model of education. I think a hybrid doesn't excite anybody and has very clear connotations of sterility. If you think of nature, many hybrid species can't even procreate or generate offspring. So in education, I think we need to be speaking of a new species, a new and evolved species as we return to schools. To not sound too ethereal in the ideas, when we go back to our schools, what we can carry forward is very simple and straightforward. And these are some concepts and ideas and educational interactions that are very well known. We need to make true on project-based learning, on working with real-life examples, being student-centered, fostering independent learning, collaborative learning, group projects, multiple forms of expression. The pandemic faced us with the impossibility of conducting the Sage on Stage, teacher-centered model of learning that had been taking hold of education since times immemorial. And if we go back and revert to our ages-old practice of lecturing all the time, it won't work, and it won't work in any set of circumstances. So if we want to learn from all that happened during the pandemic, if we want to transcend the space and be ready for whatever comes our way, we need to structure a model of learning that is centered on real life research, student centered projects, dealing with the diversity in our classrooms, doing away with the numeric grade as a loaded weapon, concentrating on rubrics and qualitative feedback, on one-to-one support of our students, on personalized learning, and so on. It's nothing we don't know. It's just a matter of applying it consistently and carrying on with the same mindset that we had during the pandemic, when, again, and I cannot stress this enough, by virtue of dramatic and regrettable circumstances, we were forced to innovate, and we proved to ourselves that despite not being standardized exams, despite in many cases not even having the leverage of a numeric grade, we were able to make learning happen. And in many cases, there were increased reports of engagement, despite the tiredness, that we all felt as the months progressed. Regarding the Learnerspace, and thanks for asking us about our projects. Sure, we're very actively engaged in trying to pave the way for schools, for teachers, for educators, to enable them to segue into this better and desired future. That's why we created the Learnerspace. And sure, we have a number of exciting projects in the online environment that all are based on certain basic principles. One is we want to foster interactions that are sustainable beyond the pandemic, reaching beyond the frontiers and confines of schools and even countries. So we're creating several projects that involve cohorts of both students and educators who can interact online in a significant way. We learned the hard way, but it's still a great benefit that we can interact significantly online. And the other principle is that, as with everything we do, we wanted to be consistent with the same model, the same paradigm that we are developing in our schools. So the personalized learning project involves Susanna Johnson from Individualized Realized in Hawaii. That is a 10-week program for students all over the world who will work on an individualized learning protocol that Susanna is a specialist in, and developing critical thinking and higher order thinking routines through regular interactions every week, which will then be channeled into a design thinking process, resulting in projects for greater good that these students will create throughout the process and then implement and develop in their own schools. So it's a way to make personalized learning happen, and to take advantage again of what students will acquire in terms of a greater awareness of their interests and passions, and channel that into global projects. We are also starting a totally unique project with Soledad Rueda. She's an artist and an educator. It's named or called Interiority Art, following on this idea that art can be a process that helps us channel our emotions. So we're also running some programs this semester, following up on a very successful experience at the school, where by virtue of channeling emotions, thought processes, shared reflections through a non-judgmental, intuitive art process that she's going to channel, we're going to provide a medium for both students and educators to explore the badly needed dimensions of personal change. We're also launching a project-based learning platform for schools, despite the prevalence of PBL as an emerging pedagogy. We don't have a dedicated platform for education, so we're also in partnership with Lenovo launching that process. And finally, of course, we are evolving. We evolve it. It was a very successful event that we hosted at the end of last year, attempting and hopefully providing a good service to educators in terms of having a live venue for exchange of ideas, for educators to be active protagonists of their learning, and doing away with this paradoxical thing that we go to innovation conferences where we attend 2-hour lectures with a PowerPoint. So we're very happy with the testimonials we received and the feedback we garnered from participants, and we evolve it. And we have some plans about continuing with the event this year, taking it further in terms of the project-based learning module. Part of what we did during the event was challenge a group of teachers who were with us for 6 hours during the 2 days developing projects. We want to take that one step further and make it a centerpiece of this intended evolution of education. And we're also looking at developing the event for the English speaking schools in Latin America, as well as we did with the Spanish speaking schools. So all in all, it's a very promising year. We are all about embracing the uncertainty that we're facing in ways that make us more productive. Nobody chose to live through what we're living, but we can indeed be an enlightened generation of educators, and again, use this regrettable set of circumstances that we all faced as a positive catalyst for change. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing voices from other colleagues in your conversation.